Hey bosses, it's Nina. So Microsoft Teams is one of my favorite things to teach. I teach it frequently, if not weekly, bi-weekly. I don't use it for my business because a lot of my smaller businesses use a competitor, and so I have to gear towards my clients. But Teams is one of the most amazing apps that brings everything in Microsoft together. It's like one workspace. So instead of going to your Outlook and your Word and Excel, you can go to Teams. So I am going to do an overview of how to use Teams. If you want to know the difference between how to use Teams versus when to use groups versus Yammer, I don't have a video on that yet, but if you'd like me to create a video on that, I give a great illustration during my trainings, and I can actually do that online as well. So leave a comment below if you need that. Otherwise, we're just going to dive into Teams. So first, I went to office.com and logged in, and then you have all of these apps here. In your application launcher, you should see Teams. You can also go to teams.microsoft.com to get here, and then there is a desktop app. I would highly suggest that you download the desktop app. But if you don't see it here for any reason, you're going to go to your application launcher and find it here. You're going to click on All Apps, and you'll go to Teams. Okay? If it's not there still, and if you go to teams.microsoft.com and it's not there, your administrator may not have turned on this feature. So you'll want to send them my other video, which I have in the comments, and it will teach them how to turn on Microsoft Teams. Microsoft also has a new wizard that kind of takes you through setting it up. Okay, so this is for end user though. So Teams is kind of like a workspace. Everything you need for your project, your discussions, your files, your notes, your meetings, you can have all of that in here, right? And basically what you're going to want to do is start by creating a new team. So I'm going to create a new team, and this is going to be called YouTube. We'll do YouTube Masterclass, right? I released a Masterclass. Now, there's public and private teams that you can create. Please keep in mind that even though it's private, people can see the name. So people can search. Notice this says create or join a team. So people can actually search for a team to find it. So if you have that secret project, you're going to want to make sure and not name it where people can find that. So if you're releasing Skype or another feature and you don't want your users to know, I would name it Project Falcon or something. So I'm going to create this as a private team. Anytime you create a team, it creates a group, a Microsoft group. Again, if you want more information on groups, go ahead and leave a comment below. If you already have an existing group, you can attach it to this. But I'm just going to go ahead and select New or Next. Now, normally you would add your guest. I'm going to go ahead and skip this step right here. So think of your team as kind of your workspace that has everything you need for your project. Now, every team comes with a general channel. This is a channel, right? Now, what I always tell people is think about how you work, because usually you're using emails and text messages and Skype Messenger to have these conversations. Think about the conversations you have. So for instance, you might have a conversation on this project about budget, right? You might have a conversation about marketing, right? It might be legal. Now, of course, I'm a small business. I don't have all of these groups, but basically think of your conversation topics and you can create a channel so you can keep that organized. So for instance, I might have a ton of people in legal that are involved in this project, but they don't really care about the budget or marketing. Now, if they need to go in there and see what's going on, they can, but for the most part, they'll stay in this area to have their conversations. Right? We'll come back to that. I'm going to go into general. I usually use a general for something that everyone on the project needs access to. So what you'll see is you can start conversations. So these would be like the quick conversations like, hey, how are you? And in your business environment, you're probably going to say something different, right? So let's just say, what's the status? This is the general tab. So let's actually say, hey team, we have a project meeting coming up on Monday, right? And maybe your meetings that have to do with everyone in the group, you can actually add a meeting. So I'm actually going to skip some of these and I can say meet now if I'd like. Now, what I do love is this is actually bringing in a lot of features from Skype. Every time I look, there's another Skype feature. I don't have anybody in this, so I can't go over all the features. One other hint is you're going to want to download the desktop app for this. I'm not going to go through this in this video. And actually, it's probably going to make me. You can give it a topic. And everyone in this channel, right, anyone who's in this team has access to it. I'm going to go ahead and close this. From what I understand right now, so right now, everyone can see every channel. But it looks like it's on their roadmap that they're going to be adding security at the channel level. So maybe I can say everyone in legal, people in legal can't see budget, people in budget can't see marketing, or whatever the topic is. And so those meetings you can actually kind of separate, or any of these notes or comments, right? So that's a feature that I love. It's a whole video in itself, so I'm not going to really go into that. But again, I have this comment here. Usually people can reply just like a regular thread, right? And they can also attach documents. So I'm going to click on attach, and you can attach it from your desktop. You can attach it from OneDrive. I have no idea what's in here. Let me just go ahead and click. I'm going to click on upload from computer. Okay, so I just uploaded a document, and usually someone else can reply, but it's just me here. But as you're going through, you can add your comments. Now, if you have other people in your team, what you can do is you can use the @ and start typing their name, right? Or you can use the @ and start typing the channel. What that does is they will be notified that there's a message there. So if I'm talking to, say, I don't know, Chris, I can say, Chris, here's the document that you said that you wanted. Or if I do an @ and the entire team name, it will notify the entire team. The importance of this is with all of these document and conversation chains, you want people to be able to know what applies to them. They have access to everything, but you want to be able to tag them in responses and posts that apply to them. So I'm going to go ahead and click on send. Again, this was just the attachment here. So these are those back and forth conversations. I'd like to think of these as kind of like those instant messages that you send back and forth in Skype, right? Also text messages and things like that. Instead of doing those in different applications, what you would do is you would put them all in one area so you can always find or search for them at the top to actually find all the information related to this project. Now I can save this as something important, and it's going to go to my saved items over here on the left. You could also like, similar to social media, and there's a few other items here, so you can send the link out in other places. Let's go over some of these other features. So these are, well, like I said, what I like to call quick messages or instant messages. But if I click on format, I can format this similar to an email message. So instead of sending emails, all of the project related documents are here. All of the project related conversations are here. Now, before you get all upset, this is a question that I usually get is, well, what if I don't want everyone in the team to see this? One, this is geared towards collaborative working. It's a different type of working, so we're actually making sure that everyone in the team sees all of the messages that happen. If you want to create a personal message, you can actually send that into chat. Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and go forward, and we'll just say this is the next steps for project, right? And I can make this urgent. Notice I can use a lot of the formatting up here, so it is rich text, and it has the @ to mention someone, as I mentioned earlier. I'm just going to mention the whole channel since it's only me. Okay, you can insert links, all of those kind of items. You can also change to code snippets and insert codes. I'm not going to do that now. I just want to show you the power of this. The main thing that I love about this is when you do add it as important, you can actually see the symbols on your right-hand side, right? As you're going through, this is where I usually lose people in the course. You can actually add emojis here. You can search for emojis or GIFs. Remember, if you're working in a corporate environment, you want to stick with your corporate culture. Don't start sending these if this does not agree with your corporate culture. Okay, there's also stickers and items like that. One thing I've noticed is Microsoft is continually adding items here. I did change the settings, so I removed some of the items here. And then you can also go to the App Store to add other items. Again, think of this as your primary means for communication. Your quick notifications, it will replace things like Skype, your text messages, and your emails, all right? So that's the conversations. And again, this is only under the general tab, so this would apply to everyone. Now, if I'm going over here to budget, maybe I'm talking to the budget team and specific people here, and then in that case, you would keep that conversation around budget. Let's look at a couple of these other channels. So we were under the general channel, other features. At the top, you'll see different tabs. So any file that you upload, for instance, there's a file here, right? And maybe someone says, and again, this is just me, but you're gonna have a ton of people talking. But if you go to files, you'll see every file that you've uploaded is right here. You can still create new files, new folders, similar to what you do in Office 365, right in this area. Again, the benefit is that everyone in the project has all of the documents in one place, and you can access it from anywhere, okay? You can upload more documents, etc. What I do love is when you go in here, and I haven't looked at what document this is, I just uploaded any document. You have 3 different ways to edit this, right? So I can edit it right here in Teams. Now this is a graphic. I don't know how this is going to behave, but it looks like it's fine, right? So this is right in Teams. I haven't left. This is why I call it your workspace. Notice I can also edit it in Word, and I don't really want to do this. You can edit it in Word Online or your actual desktop application. And you'll see that this opened it in Word for me, right? I'm going to close this. And actually, I believe this is Word Online. It shows you in your top left-hand corner. So this is Word Online, and I could still edit it in Word on my desktop. Okay, so I am going to go back to my team. And I could have just clicked on Close. I just wanted to show you. So we go to Files. I'm going to do this one more time. I clicked in here, but you can actually open it in a number of ways to edit it. I'm going to go ahead and click here. And you have the option of editing it in Teams, in Word, and then in Word Online. What I love about these documents is if I click on this comments area to the right, any conversation that happened around this document is here. So when I uploaded it, I left some information. If people have conversation, make changes, edits, anything they do, they can have a conversation and it will stick there. So next year, the year after, when I want to look at the information that's surrounding this document, decisions we've made, changes we've made, think of user guides, things like that, you can always come back here and see the conversation. So whether I'm in the document and I find the document and look at the conversation, or if I'm in the conversations area, this is the same conversation. It's just all tied to that one object. Okay, again, you can create your documents here. You can open it in SharePoint. We're going to skip that for now. Now there's a wiki here. I would suggest in your wiki area, you use this as, how do I use this channel, right? So I can actually rename these, and I can say channel instructions, channel, whatever you want to call it. Guidelines, let's call it guidelines, okay? All right, and so they are adding a lot of features in these wikis. I'm not going to go over all of these, but I would include information here like, where do we save documents? What are the naming conventions? Who should be in this channel? What should you use this channel for? Project information. So there's different ways to do this. And notice you can expand it. And actually, there's a few other items that you can use here. One of the things that you'll notice, and I forgot to mention here, is a lot of the applications that you're using, in the top right-hand corner, you'll see where you can open it in other applications. I just wanted to show you that it's there and then also here. Okay, so I changed this. I don't really use this a lot, so you can also remove it. But this is where the power comes in. Each of these tabs, you can add your own tab. So these are all applications from Microsoft, but they've included applications that you might use. So you might use a different project management system. You might use any of these items. Hootsuite, you can bring that in, and it brings it in kind of like a window for your tab. Now, I'm going to use Planner. I love Planner. Again, that's a whole nother course. If you want me to put that on not Facebook, on YouTube, let me know and I'll create a separate training for that. But this can be the project task, right? And so this is an entirely separate application in Office 365 that they've brought in here. So it's kind of like this little window where you can add your tasks. So this can be meeting notes, right? And I can assign it to somebody on the team, which right now it's me, right? And then if you click here, this little box with the arrow, it opens it in the native app. So this will actually open Planner, right? So you can actually go directly to Planner. Again, that's not what this training is about. So I'm gonna make sure and go back. Okay, and so that's kind of how it works in each of these. You can go ahead and add additional apps. So Forms, that's all Microsoft. Your meeting notes, so I would add a note. So instead of you having separate meeting notes, any meetings that you have for this actual team or project, you can put here. And then there's several other tabs. If you use Power BI to report on different data, Power BI is a visual representation of data, and it's one of the easiest apps that I've seen when it comes to getting data out of any database or any kind of data. But basically, this can be something as small as a spreadsheet, status update, a Word document. You can link to your SharePoint sites. You can link to external items. So if you look where it says, where is it at? Website, you can copy and paste different websites here. So the possibilities are endless. Okay, that's an overview of the actual team and channels. Again, each of these channels you can kind of separate and organize it in that way, right? But what happens when you want to chat with people one-on-one? I'm gonna go to the chat, and the first thing you're gonna see is T-Bot. We'll come back there. But if you create a new chat, what's gonna happen is if that person already has logged into Teams, you'll be able to save this information. Now, I don't believe I have anyone in here. Let's see if I still have Katya. I do. Okay, so it says unknown user, so I may not have her in there. I just want to show you this. So if that person is, so this person, how do I say this? If this person is not on Teams and they're actually just on Skype, you'll see a Skype symbol, and you'll usually see a button that says invite user, right? And it will invite them to Teams. Otherwise, so you can continue talking to people on Skype and go back and forth and have your conversations. The difference in having it in here, and unfortunately I won't be able to pull it up because I don't have anyone in here. So I'm going to show you an example. Let's see if I have one for Crystal. There we go. So when you have everyone in Teams, you can start your video conferences, you can start your phone conferences, you can add other people as a group. So instead of using, again, Skype and email and all of that, you have the information right here. Similar to your team, notice you can create kind of formatted or formal messages, attachments. Everything stays in this area. So years from now, when I try to find out the file or the conversation we had, again, I can search through this. I could see the organizational, the organization chart. So who their manager is, who they report to, any activity. I love this because I can see if someone is a part of multiple teams, I can see all of the activity that they've done if I have access to it, right? If I'm a part of that project or team or channel, I can see where they've posted things. The benefit here is that everything that you're doing with this person, you can always come back and find the information in one place, right? No more checking your text messages and checking your email and your Skype to see where the messages came in. If they're not in Teams, you'll see a button that says invite them. You have your Skype messages, and it's not saved as the same as the information in Teams is, at last time I checked, because I know things change frequently. So you won't have the file and organization and all of this, but you can still have a conversation with them. Okay? So this icon is a little hard to find, but that's how you create a new chat. T-Bot, for any of those who are implementation managers, project managers, and you really need to get your team on board with using Teams, T-Bot, TeamsBot, you can direct them here. And you can always say, how to upload a document, and it will tell you how to upload a document to Teams, right? Or how to create a new team, right? Or you can just simply say, have them go to help, and it has different areas, frequently asked questions. It has your actual frequently asked questions here, right? Video tutorials, any of the new things. So anybody who's an administrator, a trainer, or implementation manager, this is a great, oh, and actually I didn't know this came out. See, I'm learning. So Teams Free is actually out. So I may have to create some other training. Anyways, Teams is here. It looks like their new item is here, but there's a lot of little updates. So if you want to know about their roadmap and kind of things that have been released, you can look there, and then overall items and things like that. All right, let's go through a couple of other things. Under activity, and I don't have a lot, this is your feed. Think of this as kind of like your inbox. When you're in Outlook, all of your stuff are coming at you at once, but you want to make sure that you can organize it. So if you look at my activity, I'm not going to spend a lot of time there because I was using this for clients at one point. I want to make sure I'm not sharing anything, but everything you did is here. Your feed are things that are coming in. And so for any of your users that say, well, I don't want to use Teams, there's so much going on, I don't know what to do, this gives you a way to filter for things that are unread, any mentions. Remember, I told you use the @ for mentions, replies, things that you're following, likes, etc. So all of these items are here so they can filter to make it easier for them to kind of navigate through all of the activity that's coming through. Also, as a reminder, you can always search items at the top to actually, and you can, I'm gonna just do this so you can see. Activity, available, chat, do not disturb. You can actually search through these items. It kind of helps you, okay? Let's move down. So we talked about activities, chat, and Teams. I know I'm kind of hopping around, but I wanted to make sure you got the concept, right? So now if I go to meetings, this will connect, and I don't have a lot here. I shouldn't have anything. So this is going to be your normal calendar that's connected to Outlook. You will see everything here. You can also schedule a meeting. What I love about scheduling meetings here is I can actually select the channel. So I'm going to go to our YouTube Masterclass and select the budget channel, and maybe I'm having a budget meeting with those people. Keep in mind that if you put it in the group, and let's just do an example, if you don't invite people, it will show up in the group, but it does not invite them to that meeting. If you want to invite individuals, you'll invite them here, which is great. Maybe everyone on the team needs to see the meeting because the meetings are actually held within Teams, right? But you can invite certain people that actually need to be there. The schedule assistant is there, so you can still see people's schedule. You would have to invite people and you'll see when they're available. So a lot of the same features that are available within Outlook. Outlook has also, or Microsoft has also added a button to Outlook where you can schedule a team meeting. Again, totally separate training, but just want to make sure you know that there's all of the features that you have available for scheduling meetings are in here, and it actually creates a meeting. So I'm going to click on schedule a meeting. All right, so if you look in your budget, everyone in the budgeting channel or in the YouTube Masterclass team can see this. People in the budget channel will see this conversation. They can reply and say they want to attend, but it's all here, and you can actually start from here. You can record it, you can add notes, all of that. The meeting features are actually really, really amazing. Notice that the meeting notes are already attached there, right? But again, that's a totally different training. If you want that training, just go ahead and let me know below, and maybe I'll invite some of you to a test team. If you want that, go ahead and let me know, and I'll invite you to that team, and we can kind of play around there, okay? Your files, this is all of your OneDrive files. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on that because I have actual files there, but these are your OneDrive and any of your cloud storage items. You can actually add additional cloud storage like Dropbox, Box, Google Drive, all of that, which I'm gonna have to do for one of my projects, okay? And it will tell you the location. So for instance, a new document I added for workflow under your YouTube Masterclass under the general tab is there, and you have a couple of options to edit it from here. The ellipsis on the left-hand side, again, they're continuing to add apps. I like to think of this area as my personal workspace. So my OneNote, my planner, and things like that I can actually add here. I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do with this space. I don't really use these items, but think of that as, again, this is your workspace, so some of the items that you work on by yourself. At the bottom is to download, and then the store to add additional apps, and then feedback. That's really good because you want to be able to provide feedback. They're releasing features very, very quickly. Now, the last thing I want to kind of go over is something that will help you if you're an adoption manager, because a lot of people will say, well, I want to use it, but my manager won't use it or my team won't use it. So what you can do is have them change their notification settings. In your top right-hand corner, I'm going to click on my profile, and I am going to go to settings. Under settings, you'll see a couple of things, and I know a lot of people like playing around with that, but I'm going to go to notifications. For those people who you know will never ever be in the app, you want to have them go in and change their notifications to get an email. So then they're still a part of the conversation, even if they don't go into Teams. I would highly suggest getting your entire team in here, but you know there's some people that are, I know there's early adopters, there's some late and never adopters, right? So this is a good way to still get them the email that's coming in. Notice a banner, which is in your lower right-hand corner, kind of like your reminders and your notifications. You could have it show up on your desktop. You could only have it show up in your feed, which is over here, and you can just turn them off automatically, but you're in control of your notifications. All right, so again, the real power of this is that all of your information is in one place. You could always search it. Everyone has access to it. It promotes collaboration. And in general, Teams is just a great way to start organizing your projects. I always tell people, create a new team for any one common goal. If you have any questions or you want me to do more Microsoft videos, please let me know. I know I don't do a lot of Microsoft videos on my channel. I am in love with Microsoft. I am a Microsoft geek, but I need to know what you guys want to know, whether it's Excel or Word or Groups or Office 365 or Stream or Sway. Just let me know. Also, check out some of these other videos I have on Microsoft Teams. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Ciao.